First of all, I just want to say thank you for joining. Appreciate your
That's
time.
all good, man. All good.
Um, just for the people listening, do it with everyone. If you could just explain who you are briefly, and what you do, and then we'll obviously go straight into it from there.
Of course, yeah. My name is Reece Evans, aka EV Pro. I'm a videographer slash content creator. I've been doing it for about 5 to 6 years. Probably actually been doing it even longer than that, part time, but full time. Been doing it about 4 or 5 years. And yeah, mainly work within the sort of nightlife and entertainment sector. However, I can do weddings, corporate, starting to do like social media and like marketing as well with brands as well on the side. So yeah, that's me, AV Pro.
So I didn't know you was. I didn't know it. You didn't like it's 5 years. It's long, but it's not. I thought you was doing it longer for some reason. I don't know why. Did you have a job before that then?
Yeah, I've had loads of different jobs. So I've done everything. I mean, I've worked in call centers from when I was like 16.
Yeah.
Then I was working at JD Sports, tried window cleaning.
Mm.
So I've done PR in at nightclubs, like promo work. I've been a host in a nightclub. Like, I've done all sorts. But
Yeah, I never
I've even done DJing. I've done DJing for like 2 3 years. So yeah, man.
check you out, man. Man of all trades.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to talk about when did it come to a point? Because you said you did it part time, and when it was part time, what was you doing? Was you doing more like nightlife stuff, considering you was a DJ at some point as well, or was it just kind of a hobby type of thing?
Mm.
So
Uh,
when was it? When was it when
no, no.
you kind of got the job and thought, well, I can make this a full time job now?
Yeah, so I mean, it was never originally the aim when I sort of first started out. In my area, I only really knew of like one person who even did video and photography who was doing it full time. So I didn't know you could even do it as a living.
Yeah,
I started to work seasons abroad in like Malia, mainly Malia, and I started to do video out there. And sort of more and more, like I just really started to like perfect my craft. And obviously, when you're doing like 3 4 videos a week plus photography, like you're working every day, like you pick a lot up quickly, like on the job, like an awful lot. So I did one summer, I come back, got a part-time job, like sort of wanted to try just earn more money, but I just didn't have the connections to do it. So then
yeah,
the second year, I think it was my second year, I went back to Malia. I did it again, and the company I was over there with shooting content for that like collapsed within a few weeks. And then I got speaking to one of the DJs. He's like, look, man, you've got the talent to do this full time. Like, if other people can do it, there's no reason you can't. So
yeah,
that sort of summer was when I think it was summer of like 2015 was when I really sort of set out and was like, okay, I'm going to make this like proper. And I remember the exact point. I woke up one morning, it was like probably June, July, and I was just like, I'm not going back and working in JD. It's not going to happen. I was like, I'm really just, I've got enough. I saw by that stage, I knew that I was going to come home from summer with a bit of money saved up. So I
yeah,
knew that, worst case, I had no real like sort of outgoing. So worst case scenario, I could just, save my money, live off what I'd save for like 2 3 months. And worst case scenario, it gets to Christmas, I just get another job. So it was sort of that was the real turning point. And
yeah,
then from there, it was just it was never ending. Just I've
yeah.
been on that roll ever since. So yeah, man.
It happens. And do you think, obviously, doing seasons abroad, like I've talked to a few people and like a few people have done it, and it seems to benefit a lot. Did you see the benefits of that? Like, obviously, going abroad, meeting a lot of different artists, because a lot of big people go overseas. To be fair, and a lot of the DJs play out there. So, was it good in some sense of networking, or did you kind of not see anything come from that, but just more of a hobby, and then you kind of thought, I really want to dig into it when I get back to UK? Like, did you build connections from being doing seasons?
Yeah, for me, it was never a hobby. I was always there to work. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I just do it on the little side thing. It
yeah.
was more, how can I turn this side hustle into full time? So it was never like I was just enjoyed it and then
Completely.
started going full time. I was like, no, I actually want to do this as a job. But yeah,
Yeah,
networking, man. I mean, if I I wouldn't know anyone if it wasn't for doing my seasons abroad, and I
yeah,
was lucky enough to hit the market there at the same time as the DJs who are big now were just starting to pop off.
yeah,
So it was at the stage when they would get me in and do work for them, and then all of a sudden everyone was sort of growing together. So
yeah.
it was just literally, I think, sort of, right place, right time. And, luckily I was willing to hustle my ass off, man, and just work so hard to get it done, which in like the 2 years or the year after that, I was just driving, man. I had me and my little clapped out Clio that hardly worked. I picked up for like 600 quid, and I drove it all over the country, just doing gigs upon gigs upon gigs upon work upon work.
Love that.
A lot of times taking on too much work where I just couldn't get it edited. But I was
Yeah,
hungry, man. I was hungry for it. I didn't want to go back to that job. So
of course, and you definitely see it, bro. Like you put out so much content, and your name was literally out there. I think I remember popping up to you a while ago, and I was like, "Yo, I love your work." Blah 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 blah. But yeah, I remember I was like, "Yo, this guy's all over the place, like
yeah, man.
fully grafting." So at what point what project would you say kind of really changed everything? Because a project does kind of change a lot of things, especially in terms of who you get in contact with after that project and stuff like that. Like, what project would you say kind of really stepped up the game in terms of networking perspective?
I guess realistically, it's got to be my first gigs with sort of MK and his crew.
Yeah.
Considering like where I am now and the amount of, or the role that sort of that doing work for him and his label comes into it, and how much of a big part of that is now my income,
Yeah.
and how much of a part of the team I am. I guess that is a real big turning point. You know, if I had messed up that video I did for them a couple years ago, then obviously I wouldn't be where I am today. So yeah, I guess probably that. The first time I got to film Creamfields and SW4, and it was that I've said it in loads of times. I still think that first ever Creamfields video I did it's one of the best videos I've ever done. It was just all the stars aligned for it. You know, it was just the soundtrack was perfect. You know, all the people I got to film was perfect. There was like. I don't think I would be able to go back and re-edit it and make a better version. It was, and that's why we do it. Obviously, you want to create the best work you can,
100%.
and yeah, man, it just everything aligned perfectly for it. So it was good.
So, like, have you always wanted to do the nightlife stuff? Has it always interested you to kind of go through that market? But considering obviously the season stuff, you obviously got a taste of it. Because it is hardcore out there. I can imagine you're doing numerous videos whilst you're doing the seasons. So when you got back to UK, was that kind of the market you wanted to really go down?
Yeah, it's sort of what I was doing before I was doing my seasons anyway, and I've always been in the entertainment or nightlife industry.
Yeah.
You know, I DJ'd for a little bit, and even then when I was PRing around clubs, at some points I was putting on my own events, but I was always in that circle. From literally the day I turned 18, I've been in a nightclub probably every weekend, whether it's half the time normally working or socializing to end up working, you know, naturally falling into them circles of, you know, who's the DJs, who's the promoters. I've just always naturally sort of just fallen into it. And I think where I was doing it from such a young age, it then just carried through constantly. But then it got to a point where, you know, a year or so ago, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to do nightclubs anymore. I'm just not enjoying it. And it was to the point where I still wanted to stay in like the entertainment world, but I wanted to do more larger scale, because it was like, I'm doing a nightclub video, putting in all my effort, and realistically the promoter don't really care. So it was sort of like working on projects where people don't really give a shit, and it's like, yeah, the money's great, but you hit that point where, you know, obviously once you earn a certain amount of money, you then become like accustomed to it. So you're always looking for something new. It's going to be like, and then if you just start doing work where, you know, the client's not enjoying it, or you're not getting the feedback you want, like, you're just not really enjoying it. And it sort of, it pulled a lot of the fun out of it. And I was like it for a long time. And it was a big decision for me to start to step away from it, or change, shall I say, sector within the nightlife industry.
100%. I was literally about to ask you that as well, so you've answered the question. But what I will ask instead is, how did you find the nightlife scene in terms of like creativity? Because for me, I'm already like being selective with it. I won't say I'm ruling it out. I still want to do it because it is fun to do, to be fair. But I'm only going to be working on certain projects now. But the creativity side of things, it's very difficult to get your creative side into it because the promoters don't kind of understand it. So how do you approach that when you're doing nightlife videos? Do you kind of just go for the normal nightlife stuff and then bring it into the edit and suite and try spice it up there, or do you approach them with an idea beforehand and kind of come up with some sort of concept?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I gradually sort of fell out of a lot of the times it come down to just me. So it was just me sort of making and deciding what the concept of the video was going to be.
Yeah.
I think other than that, sometimes you'd go to promoters if it's like something for a launch event, then obviously they'll have sort of ideas in mind and stuff that they want to do.
Yeah.
So obviously in that case, then you work together to sort of suss that out.
Hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. You get some gigs that do have a creative drive, and then some, there's the gigs that you realize are just that you're just there to help sell the event. So I know what works. I know, okay, it's a bottle event, so I need to get video shots of girls and bottles
Yeah.
and people having fun and sparklers and a bit of the DJ. If it's a PA act, then you need to have more majority of clips for a PA.
Yeah.
So I guess I've sort of, in my head, obviously I've got the formula to make a nightlife video that helps hit all their markers that they need to. It needs to sell people. It needs to entice people. It needs to make people want to go to the event. And then within that, I guess I sort of have creative freedom, but it's sometimes now I've worked with a lot of the clients. If I do work with them on a separate project now, it is more, okay, look, we want to do this for this video. We want to do that for this video, which is nice because then you go in and you know exactly what you're shooting. But other than that, it's normally getting the editing suite, just throw it together. Or I normally have like an idea in my head. It's like, oh, I want to try that tonight, or I want to try that. But I normally cover myself for all angles. So if that doesn't work in editing, I can still just do like the stereotypical basic edit, and that's going to be, enough.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the best thing about nightlife, it's like, I guess it can go wrong, especially people that don't prep for it, because it is low light and there's a lot of stuff you need to be quick on your feet and capture stuff very quickly. If there's a moment happening, you need to capture that. But it is very hard, especially when you've got knowledge there. Let me just clarify. It's very hard to kind of mess a nightlife video up. And I think that's why it's so enjoyable, because it kind of takes away the pressure. And that's why I would never go towards weddings, because although I guess it's same with that, I guess, because once you get your knowledge there, it's obviously, it comes naturally. But moving away from the nightlife stuff, where do you want to go now? Because you have been doing that for a while, and you have built a brand around that. Obviously, you built a brand around other things as well. But where are you kind of really trying to domain now? Where are you trying to take over?
It's an interesting one because I ain't got a clue, man. I've literally just been winging it for like God knows how long. I mean, I started when I stepped away from the beginning of 2019. The aim was to really sort of to move into touring, and obviously the opportunity arrived to do with MK. So I started progressing and doing that with them, and I love that. It's awesome. And I think last summer I was just getting my footings, and obviously this summer I was going to be the one to smash it. That's not happening anymore. So it's a bit, obviously that all just gets moved on to next year, and or whenever gigs start to pop up again. Like there's a lot of stuff where I see different DJs sort of at the same level, like you got your Steve Aoki's and stuff, really putting out like some really good, almost like full team of content. Like Martin Garrix has a team of like 3 videographers, and I think I can do something that is up there with a very high standard and not a cinema like quality, but just a bit more than just sort of like your clips on social. I feel like there's just sort of more room to sort of expand and do stuff. I mean, other than that, I really don't know. It's weird.
I think that's the beauty of this industry, though. I think the beauty of this industry, it's an art form, so it's kind of like you're always adapting to new things. And having, especially with the credibility that you have, you're always going to get work regardless. So that's not like something you have to worry about.
We hope.
Especially after 2020. Fucking hell. But yeah, I think that's the beauty of it. I think experiment as much as possible. And like I said, you're obviously going to probably take jobs that you don't really, not necessarily you don't want to do, but it's just jobs that pay well. Whilst you're still trying to figure what it is that you want to do. Because I think you have a YouTube, don't you? I've seen this for you.
Yeah, man.
Do you feel like that helps you in terms of creativity? Because, I mean, I know you do a lot of insight stuff and tutorials and stuff like that. But I'm starting to try use my YouTube for more like, obviously valuable stuff like this and tutorials, but I'm trying to use it as more of a platform where I can share my vision and passion work, if that makes sense. So it kind of takes away the pressure of, figuring out what it is what I want to do through work when I've got something else to worry about and have freedom to do whatever I want to do. Do you think that way as well in terms of YouTube or?
Not so much really. I mean, obviously my following is not massive on there. I mean, it's all right. I mean, I got 1,000 subscribers, which is obviously great. You know, I know it takes a while to get there. And it's in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm putting out loads of content, and then when I think about it, I only put out 8 videos over the last 2 years. I'm like, okay, that's actually nothing. So it's like I have lots of stuff in my head, and I've even got like 4 other videos recorded, but it's just the sitting there down and the editing and getting them out. And it's I don't know. It's such a, like, I want to put all that information out there, but there is such a process behind it, and I am such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like I don't know really. It's a weird one. Like for me, I mean, I've got passion projects that I still want to do. Like there's a couple of like sporting campaigns that I really want to do, like, and like a proper cinema camera with like really cool things. And I'm going to make them hopefully this year. Like there's little cool bits that I'd love to do on that, and then maybe get a project, you know, with a different brand, or a brand comes to me and is like, okay, look, we want you to make an advert. You can do the concept and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm really like, I'll be honest. I used to consume so much YouTube, and over the last few months, I've really dialed it down. I'll be totally honest. I think a lot of the stuff that people put up is crap. Nearly every single person is just doing it for the ad money and to blow up and to hit that 10 minutes or 14 minutes. Like I use Peter McKinnon as an example. Like 2 Minute Tuesdays, 40 minutes. Like there's no need for it. Like if you actually wanted to give value to fans, you would just give the information, and you know they're going to keep coming back. I understand people have got to make a living, but he was making a living before YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that just annoys me, which is why my Instagram videos are all under I can get an entire tutorial done in under a minute, or, you know, my YouTube tutorials are all under 5 minutes, because it don't take 10 minutes to explain stuff. You know, I can explain it in a voice note in 90 seconds, or I can explain it on a video in 2-3 minutes. And I just think it's really oversaturated on that side of things. And
I do have to agree with that in some sense, because even with my stuff, I try to keep it as short as possible and as fast as possible. Because when I was starting out and I was watching YouTube videos and shit like that, I would always look for the tutorials that were the shortest every single time.
You always do, yeah.
It's because you don't want to be sitting around them talking bullshit for the first 2 minutes of the video and then getting into the tutorial, and then the tutorial just taking ages because they're just going like I cut all of that shit out and just get straight to the point. In some sense, I do understand the following part of things, but I think when you're trying to chase that, I think I know where you're trying to come from with this, because when you're trying to chase the numbers and you're trying to chase it for the following, it kind of does become like a place where it's not valuable. It's just something out of something for you. So I think it's always about staying true to yourself and whatnot. But to be honest, I'm a fan of Peter McKinnon. I can't lie. Just because I like him as a person, not necessarily I never really watch his tutorials. I just like to watch his content. To be honest, I just think he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I mean, of course, obviously, everyone's obviously got, you know, I'm not, just because I don't like him doesn't mean his stuff isn't valuable. Obviously, what people who I find valuable, other people won't, and people you find valuable, I might not. You know, that's just nature of so it is. Everybody reacts differently to different stuff.
100%.
But yeah, man, it's like I understand about the chase. I think with YouTube, it's very hard to not chase the numbers, like because it's such an obvious figure. Like even on slowly, I'm getting very like don't care on Instagram, so I just put it up, and if it does well, obviously sick. But like it's annoying for me when I'll put one post up that say, or photos that aren't that great, and they absolutely pop off on Insta, and then I put up, like prime example, I put up 3 clips from a podcast the day before that has so much information that people are going to learn from, but they just skip past it. And when you've got, and I see my stories and how many people are clicking on stuff, and it just, if anything, it just fucking it fucking annoys me, because it's like, if you took 1 minute out your day, and rather than liking my picture of me on a fucking beach, and you took it and actually in trying to improve yourself, And these are the same people that are moaning about their life or moaning that they can't do it. It's like you're doing all this moaning, but you won't take 60 seconds out of your day to fucking improve yourself. It's like,
100%.
but I hope I can swear on this podcast. I'm just throwing
No,
that out the window. If not, it's like,
no,
it just annoys me, man. It gets me triggered, and it's like, it just annoys me. I'm like, people will moan, and then you'll get a page or a post where it only gets like 150 likes, but I'll put up a picture of me on the beach or whatever, and it gets 700 likes. It's just like, where I don't get it. Like, there's so much more value, but it's, I don't know, man.
it's the complete exact same with me. Because I was filming full time with my girlfriend's brother, who's a massive YouTuber. So all of my followings are basically his fans. So when I'm posting work, like I made the choice to just post work on it and not anything like lifestyle related.
Yeah.
And ever since then, the likes have been dog shit, like shit.
It's mad, isn't it?
And I bet a lot of people look at it and think, "Oh, bought the followers." And I've said it loads of times on this podcast. I do not give a shit about numbers, and I'm constantly telling myself, especially now I'm in the YouTube world and all this shit.
Yeah.
Do not get caught up in the numbers. Do not get caught up in the numbers. And I think I love the fact that you're being so transparent, because that's what this podcast is about. And I've said so much shit on this podcast. People hate me for it, but some people even love me. And the way I see it is, if I'm being my true self on this podcast, I'm on YouTube and every other platform that I'm sharing my content on, then it's their judgment on how they perceive me. And as long as I'm staying true to myself, then I'm willing to accept their judgment on me. I'm not willing to be a fake person. I'm not willing to pretend I'm someone else online, because when it comes to reality, you got to live up to that fake
Exactly.
of yourself, and it's not me. And I've seen it, and it's hard to maintain, and it causes mental issues and shit like that. So,
Mate, I know. I mean, unfortunately, I was very guilty of it. I was one of them kids through school. Didn't have that many friends. I'd lie about everything or I'd over exaggerate. You take one and you get bloody six. It's like, I would over exaggerate everything. I'd lie about everything. And, over the last I don't know, like 4 years ago, I really started to think, you don't really need to do that. Like, who are you trying to impress? It's like, at the end of the day, I very much now got to that stage of like, yeah, this is how I am. If you like it, sick. If you don't, then cool. Like, there's no issue with it. Like, if you like me, cool. If you don't like me, cool. Obviously, if you get like, I've never really I maybe see like a couple of haters a year on my content.
yeah.
If that. So I don't really see it on any mass scales. But when I do, obviously a little bit, I'm like, say something back. And then I'm like, what's the point in it? And I just delete it. Like, for me, it's just I delete stuff. It's not. I'm just like, yeah, it's gone. If I can't see it, then it's fine. But I think go on.
No, that's a really good point. To be honest, you should fucking delete it, because why would you want to look back on that post and be constantly reminded about that negative comment? Because let's just face it, us as human beings, we always look at the negative more than the positive. It's just installed in. It has been since frigging whoever the first human was on Earth. So I really like that principle, and I think a lot of people should do that, because it kind of gets away the negativity. And when you look back on that post, when you really enjoy that project as well, because I always look back on my posts and say, I really love that, and what I could have done better. But you always do tend to look at the comments as well, and then when you see the negative comments, it's a constant reminder. But when you delete that and it's out of your whole entire world, I guess there's no room for you to feel any type of way. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start doing that. I really stand by that. Actually, it's a good point. I think a lot of people should do that, especially creatives, because we let it get to us. And I've recently, very recently, I think traveling has helped me a lot in terms of just understanding the world, and the fact that someone's comment means shit. Like, it don't mean nothing,
Exactly.
and things like that. And I think I know you've done a bit of traveling. I don't know if you've done like pleasure traveling, kind of like just for pleasure. And
little bits, yeah, little bits, long holidays.
But it opens your eyes, mate, especially when you go to places like India and Sri Lanka and all these places, because it just puts things in perspective. And they don't care about numbers. They don't care about having a big house. They don't care about having a good job. They just care about being happy. End of the day, like, everywhere you look, there's just smiles on the face. And
See, it's weird. It's like, sorry, man, to go.
it's all right, continue, bro. That's basically what I need to say.
Yeah, it's like, for me, it's like when like the traveling bits I've done, it's I've never really found, I don't know if this makes me a bad person or what, but I've never really found it makes me like in that mode of, oh my God, like obviously I'm grateful for what I have and the job I get and the traveling. Like when we like, I normally just take January off and me and the lads will go on like a month's long holiday.
Yeah.
And it's always, I don't know, it's weird. Like although I've done bits,
bro. Like
yeah, like for me, it's such a pull away. Like, and although I've seen like just from working abroad, like even say like we're working in Greece, so like Greeks are their lifestyle is so different to us. You know, like even it comes down to like using like Facebook or, you know, like I'm talking about the islands, like different bits. Like their whole lifestyle is very very different to ours.
Yeah.
So I think I've just learned to sort of like, is it empathy? I guess just to understand people's situation and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Where before I used to expect people to understand something or know it, I now don't. And understand that now when I explain something to someone, they don't have a clue. It could be very, very alien to them.
Yeah.
As if when we went to, where was it we went to? It was somewhere in the Philippines or something like that. Like it was, we went to this place and it was like nearly third world. It was very, like, it was so basic and it was like, oh, it's a bit of a reality check this. It's like, and yeah, it's just weird, man. It's just very weird. But it's good though. It makes you have a traveling and meeting new people. And I think even like I learned most of it when I did my seasons abroad. Like you just learn how to be around people. You learn so much about life. You meet every single type of person you can ever think of.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, yeah, I think it's good, man, because otherwise people who just stay in their local town, they're only just seeing people from that town.
100%.
They're not seeing, the world outside. It's like some people like, I will happily drive 2.5 hours somewhere to go on a night out, or 2.5 or 3 hours or 4 hours for work or so. And they're like, what? That's a whole day's traveling. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm just like, in the same day, they're like, oh, what are you doing later? I'll be like, I'm nipping down to Cardiff. Yeah. It's just perspective on everything. And I think being able to, where I meet or so many people and get to travel as I do, it sort of enables you to have a much bigger perspective on everything and just see things differently.
100%, bro. I completely agree. And I think traveling for me, it wasn't like a massive change, but it was an insight to something that I never knew would have even been possible, especially on this, when you come from a place like England, or if you're from USA, or just in Europe in general, because Europe's pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
And then you go to a place like that, it's like it shouldn't exist. And I look at it from that point of view, and then I look at it like, okay, well, they don't have much, but yet they're happy, and I kind of have everything back at home, but I don't feel satisfied, if that makes sense. But I also don't think it's a bad thing. It's kind of a confusing situation. It's kind of like finding a balance and just accepting your reality at home, but also taking a lot of influence and inspiration and stuff like that from traveling and seeing these people and the way that they live, because it is completely two different worlds. So you can't really say, well, I'm going to come back and be what they're doing, because it's not possible. We're in total different worlds.
Yeah.
It's completely different. I don't really know where we're going with this. I think, but yeah, that's kind of my point on the whole traveling situation. I think I do heavily suggest it to people, but it depends what you want from it, I guess.
I think there's only stuff to gain from it. I don't think there's anything to lose really in terms of traveling. Like the people you'll meet, for the types of different people you'll meet is going to work for you tenfold in the rest of your life, because all of a sudden, if you start working for a company that then has international relations, all of a sudden, you know what phrases to use to speak with them. And all of a sudden that could build a rapport that could then end up landing you your dream job. Like you just never know how it's going to be. Or, the people you met one time, it's even like if you go on holiday, even to like Spain, like just socializing with people there and saying hello to randomers and getting to know people. I've had that so many times, obviously we're working abroad, but then I'll bump into them in like a shopping center 5 years later, like in a totally random part of the country, like, Or it comes into where, you know, I've got a job need doing and I'm like, oh, I need a makeup artist. And all of a sudden put on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden that person, it happened to me, like someone I met in Spain, like 3 years later, they put me for, without me, we hadn't spoken in 3 years. They put me forward for a job working for a nightclub. And I got the job to do their promo videos. And it's like, you never know where it's going to, I'm not just, obviously that relates back to networking and working, but like, it's just good, man. Like you're meeting different types of people from different walks of life. There's nothing wrong with that because all it's doing is adding more knowledge. If you're adding more knowledge, it's not going to be a bad thing.
100%, mate. And it's life skills. One thing that I really took from traveling is the work ethic. You see them get up in the morning working, especially in Sri Lanka. It was in Marissa, and we stayed at this hostel, and we had to walk past this. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was like a little stall with fruits and everything. And then we walked past him in the morning, like early morning. It was like 7, maybe 6:30, 7 in the morning. Come back late at night. It's like midnight, and he's still working. An old guy. So I think, if anything, I've taken that more at home than anything. Since I've been back, I've just been putting out content, working. I think just realizing this fucking graft, like just seeing that just put things in perspective for me. I just felt like I wasn't doing enough, and there was an old man in Sri Lanka that I didn't even see him get any sales, but we were just doing whatever we were doing, morning till night, and it was just like it baffled me.
Yeah, I think there's lots of people that aren't working anywhere near as hard as they think they are. Like don't get me wrong, I work hard and I'll hustle till late at night.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's days where I do fuck all. Like, you know, there's days where you wake up and you're like, I just don't want to do it today. Like, and obviously, like everyone's going to get them, and no one's perfect. And I guess, you know, nearly everybody can sort of be doing more. But I don't know. I think it's important for people, you know, if you realize where you are going wrong, try and improve on it. But at the same time, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, just make the improvements you can, and go from there.
100%. And as a creator, do you find it hard to kind of shut off? Because I guess I don't know about you, but I always have these short bursts. Like I can continuously keep putting out creative content. It's fairly different as well for a good maybe 4 to 5 month period. And then I might just have like a 4 month where I just switch off. I just can't. But then I feel guilty when you shouldn't. Do you have that as a creator? Like,
yeah, sort of. Not so much like months. I mean, yeah, it's weird. Like, and I say that, yeah, February's normally a tough one. February and March is pretty tough. It's been even worse this year, obviously.
Yeah.
Because busy then, and just as the gigs are starting to pick up, obviously the whole world, new weddings, a meltdown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got better. It's been tough. For me, it's sort of a few years ago, I never used to be able to switch off. I'd be up till 3 a.m. editing, straight to bed, wake up, straight at it again, to the point where I just burn yourself out. Yeah. And I think over the last few years, I make my point where it gets like to 10 o'clock, I'm not doing any more work. I'm sitting down, I'm watching Netflix, I'm chilling. Yeah. And that's how I've worked out my balance. Like, I need that 1 or 2 hours in the evening just to myself, just to chill out, to put me in a good headspace. There's sometimes, especially for this lockdown, where I haven't, because I've been that creative in a zone where I'm like, nah, I just want to get this finished. I want to get it done. But there's also been times where I've stopped myself and said, just deal with it tomorrow. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. Just deal with it tomorrow. And when and I'll be tired at the desk and having to put more fucking eye drops in and all sorts. And it's like, you know what? Just go to bed, chill, deal with it tomorrow. We move, you know, realizing how important it is just to take some rest, reset and move. Because I think it's very, very easy as a creator to get caught, as you say, in that cycle of hustle. You've got all these people saying work, but it is important. Like, there's nothing wrong with, I obviously put out loads like hustle, just grind, just work. But at the same time, man, like, treat yourself. Like, I'll randomly take, like, in May, or, you know, it's going to be in July, you know, July now. Like, I'll just take 3 days and go on holiday, go IB for 3 days and just blow out.
You're right.
Because that's what but that's like, I found for me, I'll work in massive segments and then I'll take just a couple of days, totally just blow myself out, chill, and then I can sort of reset and get back into it. And that's mainly what January's for, especially, is to really reset my brain. And I found it takes me a good 2.5 weeks to fully get to a point where I'm like not even thinking about work.
Yeah.
And that's that feeling once I get there, it's bloody amazing. I love it. And yeah, that is sort of, but it's like I beat my mates like, they're like, oh, do you not take videos? Or like my Instagram followers will be like, oh yeah, get some videos and stuff while you're in Bali. I'm like, bro, I've had a camera in my hand for the last 10 months of the year. Like, no, yeah, but it's Bali, bro. I don't care. I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
Like, just because I do it as a job doesn't mean that I have to eat, sleep, and breathe it. Like,
Fully relate with that. Fully relate. I just want to pick up as well. You said something very important there. The first hour of your morning, you spend it on yourself and your well-being. That is the most important thing that anyone should be doing. Having the morning to yourself and having the evening to yourself as well. Us creators, by that we mean, so we have an hour and then an hour at night. Rest of the day is just where we work. But
well, for me, it's the evening. The mornings I sort of just get out. I have my coffee. I do emails and any urgent bits.
yeah,
Then I normally do cardio or get ready and then start my day. It's sort of, I actually found I get more done just sat in my PJs with my coffee in hand at my laptop in an hour than I probably do in, 2 hours after that. But yeah, for me, it's evening time. If I start slacking in the morning, that's it. My whole like equilibrium, momentum for the day is just thrown out the window. So for me, it's really sort of like an evening thing. I just give myself that hour, 2 hours, not long. I won't play Call of Duty till the weekend. I'll only play it on Saturday and Sundays. And at the minute, I've been saying, I'm not doing any work on Saturday and Sundays to sort of keep myself, through lockdown in that mentality of doing work.
And I think that's just so important to do. Anyone that's listening, because you do need to have those breaks. You do need to have those time to breathe. Because when you're constantly at it as a creative, you can burn out very, very quickly. And if you don't feel like you're burning out, you soon realize you're just going to end up producing the same or similar content because you're not taking these breathers to kind of think of new things or gain inspiration from it elsewhere. So yeah, it is very important to have your own time, 110%.
I do think it's personal preference as well. Like,
yeah,
if you want to work all day Saturday, all day Sunday, like sometimes I'll do it. Like, I was working all day Saturday this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong. I don't want people to think, obviously hustle, but there's nothing wrong with doing that all the time. But there's also nothing wrong with taking 2 days off.
Yeah.
Taking some time off. Like, it's weird. Everything's sort of shifted. It's weird because you've got two ends of the spectrum. You've got obviously people you say work all the time, work on your weekends, work when you got time. And, there's nothing wrong with not doing it, but then don't moan. You can't do it and then moan you're not advancing anywhere if you're not putting in the extra time. If you want to do better and advance more, but you haven't got time during the week, then obviously use your weekend to give yourself that extra time. But if not, and you're cool with it taking a bit longer and you're only giving yourself, a little bit of extra time in the evenings to do that, then that's cool. Just don't moan about it. That's what's worse is when people are doing these changes or they're saying stuff and then moaning about it. It's like, well, no, if you've got the facility to change it, then change it. If you've changed it and then moaning about it, it's very different. But yeah.
No, I fully agree with that. That's a great little saying that you said there. So moving away from the subject that I was speaking about and moving more into the work aspect, I know you said you don't really know where you want to go, but have you ever thought of doing music videos and things like that? Considering a lot of DJs as well and producers, I think it would fit perfectly, but it just depends on your interest, I guess.
Yeah, it is definitely something that I've considered for a long time. Before I wanted to get into the touring, it's something that I sort of really wanted to move into, but gradually very learned that it's a very big, complicated process. And I've done a couple, and they're not the easiest thing in the world. And a lot of big music videos are all of a sudden you're working with a team. It's not just a one-man band. And I'm very much a one-man band because I feel like I can tell someone 100 times how to get a shot and they're not going to get it how I want it to look. Obviously,
Sorry to interrupt, but I love the fact that you embrace that as well, because a lot of people just fake it and say, nah, I want to work as a team, but then they won't do anything to pursue that. Just be fucking truthful, man. If you want to be a solo band, own it. Like, I don't know why people have this I don't know, man. This industry can be weird at times, and some people can be weird at times, and it's just like the reason why I'm asking the question is to get a real answer. Just tell me the truth. I want you to be you. I want to get the right. Anyway, sorry, that was a blur, but I just love the fact that you.
All right, it's all right. It's good, man.
Like, because a lot of people are in this industry.
No, yeah, man, I totally know what you mean. There's a lot of varying personalities, shall we say, in the industry. But no, it's cool. I think it's definitely something I do want to give a shot at, 100%. I think for me, I have to really like the song as well. For me, it's not just doing it for the money, because if I can't think up a cool idea for it, I'll be totally honest, I don't want to do it. Like, I had fuck it, I'll say it. I hope they don't mind. I had the opportunity to do a music video for like Tom Zanetti and Kane. Yeah. And it come to it. It was quite a last minute thing that was being put through, and there was like, okay, you need to put a treatment together. And I wasn't great at doing treatments, hardly ever done them.
Yeah.
And I kept listening to this track. And I had a phone call with his management, and I just thought, I can't commit to this because I just don't believe in the track. The idea they had, I didn't believe in it. And I said, look, is this your only idea? Is this the only idea that you guys can do? He's like, yeah, this is this is the idea that we've got to do because of, the production studio has already been booked, the actors have been booked. It's like, this is all we have to work with. And I just went, okay, look, I just want to say that I really, really respect you guys coming to me. But, unfortunately, I can't dedicate my time to this project. Like, I don't feel that I'd be able to deliver you guys my best possible work. Mm-hmm. And that for me, bro, I'm turning down like a lot, like, decent money here.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't sit right with me. I didn't want my first proper music video to be something that I wasn't proud of or didn't have full 100% passion behind to put out. Mm-hmm. And because I respect them enough as an artist, I don't want to then be, give them crap.
Yeah.
It was just a very so I've had the opportunity to do it. And for me, it is really sort of, if I hear a song, I'm like, oh, I can do the best music video to this. Like, oh, let's do this, and this. And, hopefully the opportunity will come in the future to do some. But I am a very one-man band. Like, I would obviously have crew members around. Like, I'd get lighting people in. But you do see a lot of stick where people are like, oh, a director can't be the one on camera. That's how it goes. Like, no, it isn't. Like, look at, directors like even Spielberg done it. J.J. Abrams, all these, so many directors get physically behind the camera. There's nothing stopping that. Like, that's the whole reason why I like doing it, because I frame stuff and shoot stuff a certain way, or I move my body in a certain way to do this certain effect on a camera. Like, there's some things you can't teach people because you do it naturally. Mm-hmm. So, it's sort of the.
That's a bit.
I hope that covers it. It's like a bit sidetracking there, but yeah.
I've definitely took a note out of that. I think I need to definitely do what you just said and kind of turn away projects that I don't truly believe in. I think it's getting to that.
It's tough. It's not easy. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. Especially as a freelancer, because it's like you don't really know when the next job's going to come in. Obviously, you get lots of jobs coming through, but there's a possibility it might go a bit dry, or so.
Of course, yeah.
There's always a risk, but it does get to a point, especially when you want to develop more and do things you really truly believe in. Because when you believe in it, obviously, it's going to become a better project. So yeah, you've inspired me there to do something different, especially when the work continues and starts picking up again. Definitely start actually choosing projects that I truly believe in rather than saying yes to every fucking thing.
And obviously, you've got to be in the financial position to do that. I'm fortunate enough that, as you say, I have regular work coming in, and there's sometimes I can say no to certain jobs.
Yeah.
It's you're very, very fortunate position to be in. I've not always been in that position. I've been in the position where you say yes to everything because you just want to do it. But I've done it before. You say yes to an amazing paying job. And an amazing paying job. And then it comes to editing it, say something like corporate, and you absolutely hate it because you've got to sit in front of your computer for 3 days straight, editing, 100 different takes of the same interview. It's like, and you almost get to that point where this isn't even worth the money because I'm so stressed, and you're on your 8th set of changes or whatever. And it's just weighing it up personally with whatever you're comfortable with.
100%. I mean, I've definitely learned that from this TV series. It was an absolute shambles. And it was really last minute, and I took over a different production teams because a production team actually started it, so I had to take over and kind of replicate the work. But for any creative to do that, it is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And the guy was just horrible to work with. I'm not mentioning his name, but you already
We all
know.
get them, mate.
Yeah.
We all get them.
So wrapping up a little bit now, I wanna talk about. I know you kind of said you kind of winging it and trying to figure out what it is you want to do, but I'm pretty sure because I can see a pen and a pad in the background, so I'm pretty sure you do schedule a plan. First of all, do you schedule your day? Because I feel like I do that and it helps me a lot. I just wanted to ask that question earlier and that's totally crossed my mind.
I don't schedule my day. I just write a list of everything that's got to be done that day and then try to get it done. Obviously, you have days where you don't, but it really does help me sort of focus down a bit. I just write down what I need to do and then scribble it off. There's something satisfying about scribbling off something when you've done it. So
When it's on pen and paper, usually you tend to get it done. I mean, if it's in your head, just.
I think psychologically, I feel like I'm working hard if I have a pen and paper next to me. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true that it is true. So yeah, have you got any kind of like future plans or future goals that you want to achieve in the next few years? Does that have to be too specific? Like kind of like stuff you've always had in the back of your head that you really want to achieve in the next few years that are coming up?
Yeah, definitely. We're sort of planning to originally put it all into motion this year, but it's not really happened. Sort of build out more my personal branding side, but get a lot more into public speaking. I feel I've got a real sort of knack and maybe a bit of talent of speaking in front of audiences. I've done a little bit before. I've done stuff on stage before in terms of performing, so I'm used to that being obviously the entertainment thing, and I can produce my own content out of it.
Yeah.
I've said in other previous podcasts, I really do feel like sometimes I really do feel like I'm not working to my max potential, which sort of annoys me because I know I'm the only one who can change that. But I really do feel like I can have a bigger impact and have a bigger impact on a much larger volume of people. Obviously, it's just working away. It's a constantly building on that, doing expos, doing a speaking thing. I want to start doing workshops, build out workshops for people for free. Like, I'm not bothered so much. It's not about like the money for me. Like, I get finances through other stuff. It's more about I understand what I need to do to not almost be. It's not about being put on a pedestal, but to give back. I think I've learned a lot. Obviously, over the years I've been doing this, and I remember when I first started, there was videos on YouTube, but there was no one of like. There still isn't, or there's obviously a lot more now, but there wasn't an 18-year-old doing nightclub videos who was telling people online how to do them.
Yeah.
There just wasn't them two. Obviously, there's a lot more now, but I just feel there's lots of. You see so many tutorials by older people, or Americans, or just various different people, and there's just not enough people getting the info in bite-sized chunks. Like I feel like I'm a bit like a southerner. I'm to the point. Like I say it pretty much how it is. Like I'll just get straight to the point and say it. Where I feel like some other people are like the same thing relating back to the YouTube with the ads. It's like instead of going from here to here, they're going like this. It's like no, just go here to here, and in the end, people are going to value that content and they're going to see that. So for me, I guess it's more building the personal brand. Obviously, try to work maybe perhaps more artists, or just expand that knowledge. Try to like work on different projects where it's really groundbreaking and like stuff that's never been done before. I think being where I am at the minute sort of gives me a bit more of a platform in terms of like my work with MK. Is that if we wanted to go do like a massive virtual show, or if we wanted to do like the first prime example is like Eric Prydz, like when he does the whole hologram stuff, they set the bar for doing that. And they made everybody improve their live shows. And I think if we can work on stuff like that, and I don't know, man, just it's not fame or anything like that. I think it's just more awareness about me and what I do. Like I always obviously want to be known to be, the aim is obviously to be the best at what I do. That's the aim in everything, But yeah, giving back a bit.
Yeah.
It's not, I guess a part of me would be obviously I want to have money. Who doesn't? Financial freedom is obviously a goal. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. There's so much stuff I want to try. Like, there's loads of different stuff I want to try, but it's sort of, yeah, I don't know. It's just getting around to doing it, really. Like, I'll think up ideas, or like the amount of ideas I've had through lockdown, gone to execute it, and then it's flopped. So, all right, cool, done. Next idea. Like, I think I've realised through lockdown, like, I worked on this whole side hustle project called like Hustle Mug through, lockdown, and I put really, the whole idea was for me to learn Facebook ads, and the whole thing fell on it hard, but I invested too much time into it. I overcomplicated the whole process.
Okay.
But it's nice because from that, I've now known, like, if you want to give something a go, just simplify it and go for it. Like, you don't need to, I created like 6 web domains for it, like 4 emails, set up, like, everything took days and days. And I spent ages building an Instagram profile and building followers and doing posts. It's like, all I needed was a product and ads. Why have I've done that instead of just that? So I think just learning sort of, yeah, man, just expanding myself, I guess, and the umbrella that is EV Pro. Part of me wants to start creating music, not to be a big super time DJ producer. I wanted to do it when I was 16, 17. I've now got the facilities to do that. I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by peers that are extremely successful in the game. So why can I not try it and just learn another skill? Like, why the fuck not?
Of course, especially whilst we've got this time, and end of the day, I mean, we're not on this earth for too long, so you might as well try fucking everything.
Exactly, man.
If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. It's funny that you said work, because that's something I was about to do this year as well. When I came back from traveling, because I'm working with this university, and obviously we was in talks about doing a workshop and stuff. So that's funny that we have that mindset in terms of that. But sorry, what was you going to say?
No, yeah, I think it's just it's just a weird. I mean, you said about your workshops. Like, I had my first public speaking booked in for the photography show, and literally lockdown gets called the week of it, and I'm like, no. And it's, yeah, I feel that there's a lot of people out there. Like, I went to a conference in America. Like, I see, and this probably makes me a knob, but I see lots of people doing it, and I think I can do a better job than that. And so then I think, why am I not doing it? And it just comes down to myself. That's all it comes down to. And I think that's my growth and my hunger to always just want to be the best at everything I do. I want to be the best at nightclub videos, or I want to be the best at doing social for brands, or, I want to be the best at, public speaking and getting people motivated, or I want to be the best sort of a young, videographer influencer who's, giving people content. But I'm miles away from all of them things. So yeah, man, I guess just building on myself, man, and building out. And I don't want to look back and regret it and be like, oh, I should have just worked harder. Like, I could have been that. Especially when I'm seeing some of my friends who are in that space doing really well and really succeeding. And it's like, if you just pulled your finger out your ass and worked a little bit harder, you could have done it.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a film festival before?
I haven't, no.
The exact same thing as what you said with the conference. You look at it and you're just like, not in a horrible way, but you're just like, it fills you with confidence, basically. That's what it does.
It's just competition. It's like competition side in you comes out.
100%. Wrapping up now, last kind of thing I want to touch on is, even though there's tons of advice and knowledge in this, but kind of wrapping it up in one little short sentence or one paragraph. What advice would you give to people coming up, especially in, let's just say, in the nightlife scene, because you've done a lot of it? What would you say to people that are trying to get into that field?
If you're trying to get into that field, the best way... So I get DMs and stuff all the time, say, how can I film for the, nightclubs and festivals and so on? I think the best way is, if you want to go for nightclubs, is literally just DM them. Just DM, find out the promoters that are going there. Go to the clubs, go to the events, start mingling with, not the doorman, but go say hello to the DJ who's playing, add them on Facebook, Instagram, chat. It's so easy now with social. Just start to know the people that are there, and then ask them if the opportunity is there. Just say, look, I do videography. I'd love to come do a video for you. If, offer them maybe a free one, and then just say after that there'll be a payment. you know, when it comes to festivals, a great way is artists, but everyone thinks you've got to go for the big artists. You don't have to go for big artists. You know, festivals are full of lineups of younger people that want content. You know, just say to them, oh yeah, can I like roll with you? Like, and you know, for £100 for the whole day, I'll get you loads of photos and loads of videos. Or can you just get me a press pass, you know, and I'll come shoot you some content for free and you can have it and do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Doing that, you're building your relationships up and you're building your network out. And by doing that, will then give you the opportunity to mingle backstage with everyone and to make new connections. Like the amount of people you see backstage at festivals, you'd be so surprised.
Yeah.
Like so much mingling goes on back there. And I think that's just a real opportunity that a lot of people don't realize. They're just DMing Creamfields or Tomorrowland. That's not how it works. They have production companies that do this stuff. Like if you wanted to do that directly, then find the production companies that are filming them. Yeah. You know, you can find all this information out just by doing a little bit of research. But if you wanted to get into that into that sector, it's just find the sector that you want to go to, find the audience and try and network with them. And then just like socialize with them, try and build rapport, build relationships, because that inevitably is what this whole industry comes down to, is relationships. You know,
yeah.
I recommend someone because they're nice to me or they do this for me, and then it works vice versa. That person will recommend me because of this, and that's how it works. It's how the industry works, man. It's how everything works in life. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is your biggest speaker. If your work's good, but you're a dickhead, you're not getting booked. There's lots of people that I don't recommend whose work is very good because they're a knob.
Yeah, I've said that actually on this podcast as well. So I'm glad there's someone else that has that mutual.
Be nice and be kind to people. That's all it is. Just be nice, be kind to people, because you never know where that next job's going to come from.
100%. And it doesn't cost anything to be a nice person at the end of the day. And just be your true self. But that's great advice, mate. Honestly, that was a great little wrap up. I mean, yeah, straight line. No, none of this.
Yeah, none of that.
But yeah, appreciate your time so much. Thank you so much for joining, man.
Thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Take it easy, brother. Stay safe.
Cheers, bro. Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.